I wanted to do a video on this game here. It's called The Elder Scrolls Castles. I've been playing it for a while, since release. So basically, I just kind of wanted to go through it, go through the things that I think could be improved and the things that are pretty good already about it. If you wanted to try it out for yourself, it's just a free game. You can download it on the App Store, on Android, or any of the app stores basically. Just download it, try it yourself. It's got a pretty good tutorial and everything. I'm basically just going to go through what I don't like about it and what I like about it. And some things that can be improved upon, and some things that are just great already, like the castle design here. I've always loved these games where you can kind of just see them going about their day, and it's like a cross section of the castle. That's pretty good. I like that. It gives you all of the information that you need in the UI. Basically, you just click the things that you want to click, and it gives you some quests there to complete. So I can just click all this stuff, and it will just, it's all fairly well done. It zooms in on this guy when you have to make a decision, and then, so that's good. There's these ones where we can age up the population as they age. They hit barriers, and then you can pop them to make them go into the next age bracket, from baby to toddler to teen to adult to elder, all of that. And then so this is all good. I like the resource management is pretty good. Getting these, clicking these, or tapping these resources to gather them is really good. All of this feels all right, feels great. And the quests, there's two different kinds of quests. There's these orders for you to fill with materials. There's the regular quests here that have you do tasks, and they reward you with the tasks, weekly, daily, all this stuff. That's fine. There's nothing really wrong with that. And then sometimes there's royal tasks. Sometimes there's special royal tasks, like weekly. I think so far it's been weekly that they've offered a royal task that is time limited, so you can just finish it within the time period, and you get a bunch of premium currency. This different atronite, it's called, is this premium currency here. You get some of that for completing some quests, and then you can spend it in the shop. And the shop is a whole different beast. I'm going to tackle that in a moment. I'm just going to finish with the adventures first. So I've made it about halfway, a little over halfway through the game. It's become kind of repetitive for me. I like this 3D view, and you can zoom out and see the whole castle. This is good. They're doing a Halloween event right now, and having this dark castle is pretty cool. And there's also, like, the throne room is designed as a Halloween theme, and you can get Halloween themed decorations to put throughout the castle, and decorations have different benefits and whatnot. That's all fine. I like those. I like all of these features that I've mentioned so far. The things that I think that could use some improvement, and there's two main issues with the game itself and one main issue with the shop, which I'll get to later. The two issues with the game is one, the transition between art styles. Okay, so when you're playing this part of the game, it's all 3D and it's all pretty good. This is fine. I could see how this kind of fits in the Elder Scrolls, but the people, okay, so the castle is fine, the castle itself, but the people, like the 3D people, I'm not sure if they actually fit that well. But that's not like they're serviceable, their models and whatnot. It's just like a little Sims castle with an Elder Scrolls theme, which is fine if that's what they were going for. Like, I could see how that's just, it is what it is. That's all right. I don't have any real complaints about that. It's just a nitpick. But the complaint I do have about the art direction is that, okay, so this is all fine and stuff, but any of the loading screens, and also when you transition over to this, it's jarring. This art style in the background here, it doesn't really match the 3D aesthetic, and it also doesn't match the Elder Scrolls aesthetic. So, because I've been playing it for a couple months now, and yeah, the thing that jars me the most is this art style here, and also in the loading screen. Like, if I were to pick a battle here, so if I start quest, this art style here, okay, that didn't last very long, but I'll pause it, or you can pause it and you can look at it. The art style is less than desirable, I would say. It's not very, it doesn't match the themes of the other games, or even the themes of the castle are. So then we finish the battle. This is another problem I have with the game, is the battles, but I'll get to that in a moment. We're gonna go back to the map, let's say, and see this art style. Like, this is Not good. This is jarring every time I see it when I switch it between 3D and then it goes to the art style, and then I'll go back to the castle and it's 3D again. Like, it's just jarring. It doesn't make much sense to me. It takes me out of the experience every time that transition happens between loading screens. And loading screens in general already take someone out of the experience somewhat. So having it jar you at the same time is not exactly a smooth experience to have when you're playing a game like this. So that's another thing that they need to improve. It's just the art between the 3D portions and the loading screens, and also this map in the back here. This map doesn't really fit. So we just gather and craft materials, quests. All this is fine. I don't have an issue with any of that. And then one other issue I have with it is the battles themselves. When you're sending your soldiers out to fight enemies, this is probably going to be a small issue. When I go into a battle, my guys are basically just standing here. They come in at the first part of the first wave. This is fine. And then I like attack these guys here. In the second wave, the enemies just keep coming to my guys. It doesn't feel like my guys have gone on an adventure. They've just left the castle and are ambushed by bandits, which is fine in some instances where I'm fighting bandits, but when I'm just like trying to explore a new land or something, it would be better if they could evoke the feeling of my soldiers going out of the castle and like my soldiers taking the initiative to move to other places, sort of like through Darkest Dungeon. If you've played Darkest Dungeon, they have like a dungeon and you're moving your people through a dungeon, and the dungeon monsters aren't coming to your people. You have to go find them. And I can kind of see why they made this sort of thing, because it's mobile and they want just everything to come to you so that you don't have to go to that. I think it's just a less experience overall. I would like my soldiers to go out and adventure rather than just stay in the same spot and have enemies come to them, because that doesn't feel like an adventure at all. It just feels like you're turtling more. And another thing that they could do was they could add like, okay, so that's just the battle. That's the battle issue that I have. And then I wanted to also talk about, if I go back to the castle, see, here's another art style that's just jarring every time I see it when it loads out. Another thing that they could do is most of the decisions, 100% of the decisions you make right now are just at the throne room, and they're all issues that are inside the castle. Some of them are outside the castle, but you never get to see them. They're kind of off screen. It would be funny if like a caravan came through and like demanded tribute, sort of like how the farmers had to offer tribute to giants in Skyrim. If like a giant caravan came through or a giant came through demanding tribute, and you had to like make a decision on what you're going to offer them, just like stuff like that. So just new decisions to make that, like from things outside the castle coming to the castle, would offer like a wider variety and also more depth to the game as well at the same time. So that's that. Those are the things that I'm having issues with there. And then there was one other thing I wanted to mention. Oh yes, the items. All of the items are the same. They're just recolored depending on the tier of metal that you've unlocked. So I got iron. You can get some special weapons, but they're just recolored versions of, you get like, I like the borders, the colored borders and whatnot for these special ones that produce more resources or do more. That's pretty cool. But the 3D model itself is just recolored models, which is kind of, I would say, lazy in Bethesda's. According to Bethesda's previous games, they would each have a different style for each type of metal and stuff. Like in Skyrim, when you have a steel sword as opposed to an iron sword, or like a glass sword, or orichalcum swords. Yeah. So they have Redguard steel bow, like Redguard bows. They have like fantasy racial differences, but they don't have like, it's just recolored. Like steel is just and then silver, if I go up to silver after steel, and then same with the textiles, like wool becomes linen. So silver is just a brighter version of steel, and they're all the same. Like a silver battle axe is the same as a steel battle axe. This is a special steel. This is a special iron axe. So that's like basically a recolored to steel. So this is iron. This is an iron battle axe, and then we go find a steel battle axe here, and it's just recolored. It's the same model, and it's just recolored. And silver is the same thing. It's just a recolored model. And the bows have no personality. There's just the same bow recolored 1,100 times, 7 times, or however many. There's like 7 tiers or something like that. And then the Orcish sword is just a greenish tint Orcish battle axe. And then if I go steel battle axe, it's just a slightly different color. And like if they had different models for each tier, that would be great. I don't know how easy that is, but they've done it before in all of their other games. I don't know why they decided their mobile port was gonna just be less than. So this definitely isn't a game that you focus on a whole lot. You kind of just pop in and pop out. So that might be another reason they just wanted to have like an easy way to do all this, sort of like an easy foundation to have, so that they could just put it out there. It's kind of what it feels like somewhat, especially with the differences between the art styles too. They kind of just threw that together, it seems, because it's kind of jarring. So yeah, that's another issue I have, is the items. They're all the same, just recolored, basically. There's no variety there in terms of their design style. And then the store. It's pretty expensive, the store. A lot of these items are very expensive, which, I mean, it's par for the course. It's mobile, so it's like, what do you expect? Of course it's going to be, which is fine. I mean, that is what it is. People will buy it if they buy it, and if they don't, they don't. But I do have an issue with their subscription model. Yeah, I just wanted to do an update here. This is me from the future. While I was editing this video, they released an update that changed the subscription. So the old subscription used to be $18.99 for a month, which is about the same as a World of Warcraft subscription for a month. It's a bit high for me. That was the point I was going to make. However, they changed it to $25.99 for an entire year, which is actually pretty good. It's even better than the recommendation that I was going to say, which was my original recommendation would have been to get rid of the 7-day sub and change the $18.99 for a month to $6.49 for a month subscription. But they did even better, and they are charging $25.99 for an entire year, and the 7-day subscription has remained the same. I can show that here in a minute. And then yeah, so that's a huge win for Bethesda. And I know that they've been getting shit on for Starfield, but they've been making some good progress here on this game, and I just wanted to point that out. So yeah, big W's going around and huge hopium in the air. Maybe they can turn their gaming around, you know? Maybe changes like this can permeate through the company, and they can start making some huge changes to Starfield as well. And maybe things aren't gonna be so bad. Okay, back to the original video. And it's really the slow game anyway. You're not gonna be focusing on this game for weeks and weeks. I did, just because I wanted to try and make it as far as I could free, and I made it about, let's see, so if I go all the way down, all the way back to the beginning here, I think there's 7 dragons in total, and I think I'm on like the 5th one. I'm halfway to the 5th one, I think. Okay, so here's the first one, the dragon at the end, 25, so that's 1, 50, 2, 3, 4, yeah. 5, so I'm almost halfway to the 5th dragon, and then there's 6, and there's 7, and I think that's the end. Yeah, 7 dragons right now. At the time of the recording of this video, there's 7 dragons. I'm halfway to the 5th. I could probably keep going. I guess I'll see. It's probably gonna take a bit. I've kind of hit a wall playing free. This is my free-to-play journey, has stopped me around this spot here, mostly because the materials I need. I've unlocked like orichalcum and whatever the cloth is, so this will unlock sandstone, and I can also unlock this velvet. That's how you unlock the different tiers, and I've already unlocked the orichalcum and the cotton. That's what it is. And in my castle, I'm still using silver and linen, because I haven't been able to upgrade my stations fast enough, because I haven't got enough gold. So I'm stuck trying to do these, get more money. more gold pieces that I can upgrade my stations, and then I can actually use the tier that I have unlocked, even though I've already pretty much unlocked the next stage of, well, I got sandstone next, which is gonna be great when I can actually use it, but that's gonna be a long time because I'm still trying to catch my castle up to the previous tier, even though my adventures are at sandstone. I'm still making silver at the furnace here. I think that I can make some. Yeah, I can make one orichalcum every like 5-10 minutes or whatever, or I can make 5 silver every 5 minutes or so. I don't know the exact time, but so I just stick with silver until I can upgrade my furnace more and get more of that. That's the more efficient route, I feel. I think that's it. I think that's the issues that I have with the game. The UI and I like the UI. The animations are great. The people walking around in the castle. I like the castle itself. The cross section of the castle is pretty good. Being able to zoom out and look at the castle, that's also great. I just think having more external issues that you need to make decisions on, like everything that you make decisions on right now is inside the castle. There are a few things that you can make decisions on that are outside the castle, and those are pretty good. Like when you order a book from, I forget the location name, but then it updates you every so often with things that like your ship is doing as it goes through to get this book, and it's pretty good. It's a pretty good adventure. And then that's the other thing that, yeah, I just wish that on the battles, soldiers felt more like they were going on an adventure rather than the adventure was coming to them. Because that's the way it feels now, is that your soldiers kind of just sit in there and wait for the waves of enemies to come to them. And I don't really like that as much. So yeah, hopefully they can pull this together and make it a better game. You can also watch advertisements on here for like rewards, and they offer a free reward every so often, every day. I already accepted the free rewards, so it's not listed right now. And they have 2 different premium currencies, which is kind of dumb as well. They have gems and they have atronite. And you can use gems to buy atronite right here. 300 gems for 500 atronite. It's kind of a terrible deal. It's easier to just save up the atronite by doing the weekly quests, the weekly royal quest that pops up every so often. And then what else? I think that's it. I think those are the issues I have. It is a free game that you can play. Yeah, other than that, the decorations are all good. I think that's it. That's how I feel about it. Yeah, I guess I'll just end the video and download the game and try it for yourself if you feel maybe I did it injustice, or maybe you wanted to try it out and for yourself and see if you have the same experience or a different one than I do. They're doing a Halloween event right now. It's pretty cool. I like the design of the Halloween stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna just end the video because I'm kind of just blabbering around now. See ya.